Hi, it's Les Jones of Bulletproof Education. I'm back with another in our series of tips and tricks videos. Today's episode is on Microsoft Excel. I'd like to start by talking about working with multiple workbooks. I'm going to show you how you can view multiple workbooks at the same time on one screen. I have, as you can see down here, I have 3 workbooks open, Div 1, 2, and 3. And under my View tab, I have an option here called Arrange All. What it allows me to do is choose tiled, horizontal, vertical, cascade. Tiled is the most popular. To choose a way that I want to display these multiple workbooks. So under tiled, you can see it lays out each workbook on my screen so I can see all 3 at once. This is a terrific way for comparing data across multiple workbooks or even building formulas across multiple workbooks. The next part I'd like to show you, and I'm just going to close a couple of these out, is how do you work with multiple worksheets within a workbook and see them. As you can see in this particular workbook, I have sheet 1 with data on it, and I have sheet 2 with data on it. I'd like to see both of these worksheets at the same time on one screen. Well, to do that, it's just one extra step. If I go to my View tab, I'm going to select New Window. This will open a second window with the same file in it. And now if I go back to View and choose Arrange All, tiled again, I can now see this one workbook in 2 windows, allowing me to see sheet 1 on this window and sheet 2 in this window. It is still the same workbook. It's one copy of it. It's just displayed in 2 different windows. So if I make a change here, that change will also be reflected over here, as you can see when I display sheet 1. The next part that I'd like to talk to you about is how to find out what cells are going to be affected before you change a value in your workbook. If I wanted to change Q1 fresh produce sales, before I change that, I want to know what other cells are going to be affected. Under my Formulas tab, there is what's called Trace Dependence. What this option does, when I select it, it will draw lines on my screen with an arrowhead landing on each cell that will be directly affected should I choose to change this value. If I then hit Trace Dependence a second time, it will even show me cells that are indirectly affected. So if I change this value, I know this one will change, and because this one will change, I know this one will change. So it's a great way of knowing ahead of time, before you make a change, what other cells will be affected. And the last part that I'd like to talk to you about is a little tip on copying some formulas. A lot of you may know that if I have a formula in a cell and I want to copy it to adjacent cells, we use the autofill for that. That's this little black cross in the lower right corner of the active cell. So I can click and drag that down, to the right, to the left, up, etc. In this case though, because I am copying it down, and I've got quite a few to copy, I don't have to click and drag this right off my screen. If I point to that autofill and double click, it'll actually copy it all the way down for me, so I didn't have to click and drag. It knew where to stop because it ran out of data that was affected by that particular formula. I hope that you found that these tips have helped you a little bit, maybe made you a little more efficient in Excel. If you'd like information on some of our training or some other tips and tricks video, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is les.jones@bulletproofsi.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and maybe seeing you in a classroom in the near future. Thanks and have a great day.